Reviving communities.
The views expressed on this program do not necessarily represent those of Revive FM or its management.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Muazzam Ali Sandhu. You are watching and you are listening Revive FM 94.0. This is the Tuesday afternoon show, 12 p.m. Live from the studio in London. We are going to talk about the current issues and scenarios during this show. As you all are aware, this is your voice. The voice of the people, the voice of the many who has their concerns, issues, the questions which may arise and come into your mind during the outcome of the current scenarios in international politics. As you all aware that since last week, the whole world is watching the United States elections. The United States elections, the presidential elections, 46 presidential elections, does matter worldwide, because a lot of people think that these elections will decide which way the world order, the new world order, will turn around and will go. Ladies and gentlemen, as you all aware that projectedly the Joe Biden, the upcoming new US president, has been declared by the worldwide international media. He has received so many congratulations from the world leaders, apart from few. However, officially there are few things controversial, and he's facing some challenges, legal challenges from the Trump side and the legal team. We will all discuss about how the new world order will place after the Joe Biden's new administrations, because he represents the Democratic Party, which is the party who was in the rule before Trump administrations. Trump represents to the Republican Party, the right wing party. Ladies and gentlemen, we also will discuss the new Islamophobic waves worldwide, especially the statements of President of French Macron. Also, there are different kind of anti-Muslims decisions has been taken by the different authorities such as China, India, and other different world powers. We will discuss about all of that, and especially today we will talk about the United States new elections, the president, new administrations, how this will impact on the subcontinent, the South Asian countries such as Pakistan, Iran, Afghanistan, India, and other Eastern countries. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you, the guest for today's show, Barrister Needa Salam. She is very vocal. She is author, writer, advocate, lawyer, presenter, and researcher. And we feel honored that she joined us today live from Islamabad. She is there at this time. So, very welcome, Needa Salam.
Hello, Muazzam. Thank you so much. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, I think if you can a little bit speak loudly.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it is much better. It is
okay. Yes.
Better. Yeah. So, Ms. Needa Salam, first of all, we welcome you here. This show is telecasted live from London studio, Revive FM 94.0. As well, it is live on YouTube and Facebook, and people across the world can watch and listen this show. So, Needa Salam, first of all, let's open the debate about the new situations. The United States new president, Joe Biden, which is projected president, most expectedly, he will be in charge of the White House very soon. I want to ask you a few things, because during the Obama administrations, the relationship between United States and Pakistan, especially, and in the South Asian countries. It was entirely different what was with the Obama administration. So Trump administration and Obama administration, they have different policies with the South Asian countries, the South Asian regions. So how do you feel that the new government, the new president, will take the lead towards the South Asian countries, and where the Pakistan stand in front of their priorities with compared to the India, China, and Iran and Afghanistan. So what do you think? Do you think there will be a big difference?
All right, Mozam. I would like to say thank you. It's my privilege to be part of your show. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are as far as concerned, they are an attractive combination because both have indistinguishable vantage points to rebuild economy, lenient immigration system, meet the challenges of climate change, protection of the human rights, honest and loyal to their people. As far as the Biden is concerned, he already served during Obama administration and got a lot of experience, along with propitious relations with United States of America media as well. So geopolitical dynamics are entirely different than one person occupying the White House. It's all about foreign policy. It's all about external and internal threats. It's all about relations with the world leaders. It's all about hard decisions. It's all about bringing the troops back from Afghanistan or not. It's all about relations with South Asia. Biden's victory is a return to diplomacy, which we have already witnessed during Obama era. Biden's presidency is a revive towards the involvement of United States of America in the region. I strongly believe that. As far as Southeast Asia is concerned, it will be viewed from across the Pacific as an adjacent to the Washington, either bellicose or more accommodating to China policy. So I think Beijing seems to be a threat to Washington in the context of the economy. Relations as far as with the India are concerned, that will remain pleasant, and because there's one school of thought that during the revocation of Article 370, Democrats were very vocal about it, and especially for the infringement of the fundamental human rights in India and in occupied Kashmir as well. So there's one school of thought might be Kamala Harris will take a different stance in relation to the infringement of human rights within India and in occupied Kashmir. So as far as Pakistan is concerned, I think she's a game changer in the region. Pakistan is a backbone in the region, and the relation with US of Pakistan will remain pleasant because USA entirely admired the assistance of Pakistan in Afghanistan to bringing the troops back home, and Pakistan has paid the highest price in relation to the eradication of the terrorism. So USA entirely admired that. So let's see by spring 2021 whether the troops are coming back home or not. So it seems to me Biden administration will confront three main factors: reframe US-Pakistan relation in assistance of Afghanistan, fast-growing US-India security partnership out of alliance, and thirdly, very very importantly, how to fit South Asia into its broader Asia-Pacific policy. So that's all about I believe so far.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think that the winning of Joe Biden and the Kamala Harris, the Kamala Harris is one of the best combinations so far with Joe Biden in terms of having the great relationship with the South Asian country, because she has the South Asian heritage, the Kamala Harris,
No
and
doubt.
he also has the black ethnic minority heritage from Jamaica. Do you think that, let's talk about, because we just opened the all of the South Asians angles of the United States relations and foreign policies. Let's talk about one by one, and then we will move on to our second because this show is only for 1 hour and we have to cover so many things in today's discussions. Do you remember that just a few weeks before the United States official visit, the Mike Pompeo, the United States Secretary of State, and his defense chief, Mark Esper, they just visited India, Sri Lanka, Maldives, Indonesia, Vietnam. They just had visited these 4 countries, and while they're visiting India, they had made some strategic agreements with them, from India and United States, in terms of military satellite monitoring of the regions. Especially, they wanted to counter the Chinese strategic plans of that, and which is a biggest concerns for the big power of the region, which is China. And do you think that having that agreement and having that very important visits, which will raise the concerns for the China's on their South China Seas, because they have so many concerns on that regions. And China and India recently had fight as well, wherein the Indian 20 people, the military people, has been killed as well in that attack. And the United States was standing in support of the India. Just before the election, this visit considered a very important turn by the Trump administration, but he lost the election. So do you think Joe Biden is in a position to take the same stance after that visit?
As I mentioned earlier, that Beijing is a threat to Washington in terms of the economy. Obviously, nowadays there's a war of the economy and the resources. Great on one hand. Secondly, very, very importantly, we need to understand that, as you mentioned about Ladakh and the relation between China and India, that are not that pleasant, which used to be back in the days. Yes, Modi was a favorite of Trump back in the days. As far as Biden is concerned, because we have experienced and witnessed his policies and his stance during Obama administration. So might be he will be favor of bilateral contracts, bilateral agreements in terms of the economy and the businesses to expand, But violence, if you're considering that, might be like whether Joe Biden will agree or not. I think Joe Biden will never agree with any sort of violence, whether it will be within the India or with the neighbors. So China is quite harsh with India at the moment. Ladakh is a great example for that, for all of us to experience. And I think the stats between India and China will remain hot, like 2019, 2020. So let's see how the Biden will improve the relation between these two countries, India and China, because not even the Indian soldiers were killed by the Chinese at Ladakh border on one hand. On other hand, a lot of businesses were already taken up from India actually, and a lot of agreements between China and India that were eliminated as well among themselves.
Exactly. And do you think that after the Trump administration just had last year, they had I think last year or 2 years before, they had a meeting with with China. The President Trump said that the China has a 400 billion export to the United States, whereas the United States has only 1.7 billion export towards China, which they want to make a balance. And during that meeting, wherein the China agreed with the United States that they will increase their import from the United States up to 200 billion, but they haven't given any positive plan, which disappointed the Trump administrations. And the same disappointment led towards open war, civil war, or you can say diplomatic war between Trump administrations to the China. And that stance is still at peak. And the recent visit also supported the same stance, that the United States and the Trump administration is 180 angle against the China at the moment. And yes, I agree with you, the Joe Biden he do consider the geopolitical situations, and he do consider the importance of the China in the regions. And but the involvement of United States in these regions through the India and through the borders of the India toward, on the other side of the South Sea, South Sea from the China, this will be a biggest threat for the whole region if the United States will continue monitoring the China's through. And also they given the agreement to the India to they can use the drones now, which is highly alarming for Pakistan as well, because Pakistan, the military administration has raised their concern that why the Indians were giving that authority.
All right. As far as China is concerned, in relation to China and USA, they will remain rivalry actually in terms of the economy, in terms of the money, in terms of the resources, and in terms of the investments, export and import. Great. Joe Biden, as he served during Obama administration, on one hand, Joe Biden was the person only during Obama administration who strengthened the relations with Pakistan, and that's why he was honored with the Pakistan Highest Civil Award as well, back in 2008 and 9, actually. So. Yes, China, as far as the concern of the monitoring, electronic monitoring or satellite monitoring is concerned, I don't think so. China will accept in any manner, because the relation between China and USA during Trump administration wasn't that great actually. And again, Trump was the only head of the state across the globe who was very rude, who used the terms like stupid, Chinese virus, idiot, like that.
Exactly.
So like I think on the other hand, China gave a very hard time to Trump as well, not from economic and export and import point of view. If you consider the their other concerns in terms of the sea and their attacks on each other and the warnings during 2018, 2019. So I think Joe Biden will strengthen. Sorry. I think the relation between the new administration and the relation between China and USA now will be better with the passage of the time. Will
Yeah.
become better actually.
Let's talk about the United States and Afghanistan. The Trump administration and Trump announced just before the elections that he want all his troops back to America by this Christmas. He was in some extent he was successful by bringing the troops, but not all of that. And also the Pentagon administration thinks that the Trump's this decisions and this tweet jeopardize their whole peace negotiation plan, which is carried on with the Taliban, with Afghanistan, and recently the Trump administration also had a agreement with the Taliban that they will stop this, they will end this war, and they will bring all of their troops from the Afghanistan. And they wanted to have a further a meeting in Oslo, in Norway, which never happened till yet. Do you think that the Joe Biden will take the same stance and same position as the Trump administration have?
We need to understand that Afghanistan war is a lost war. After 18 years, almost 18 years, our Western allies believe that we need to bring our troops back home, and we need to bring the Taliban on the table for the negotiations. And in that, we need to admire that Pakistan has paid the highest price for that, and giving a huge assistance to the United States of America. Without the assistance of Pakistan, I don't think so even it's possible for Western allies to bring the Taliban on table talk and even to be out of Afghanistan. The destruction, the infringement of human rights, and the destruction of the resources, that's another debate. Okay, during the Obama administration, yes, that was the stance of Obama and Joe Biden both, that bring back the troops actually. But again, they took a lot of time to bring the troops back home. I think yes, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden both will be on one page in relation to bring the troops back, because in Afghanistan, I don't think so they have achieved anything so far.
Right, and also in Afghanistan, they cannot go for the progress without the help of the Pakistan and the
Oh,
Pakistan's.
not at all, not at all, not at all. No, no, because Pakistan is a backbone in the region, and
But
if
you
a
remember
backbone.
that I would like to mention here a tweet which created a very big tension between Pakistan and United States, a relationship wherein the Trump administrations make a big allegations against Pakistan, wherein he said that the United States has wasted their billions of funds on Pakistan, but the Pakistan military didn't help them, and it is a heaven for the terrorists and this and that. Uh, what do you think that the Pakistan
Well,
responded very well, and they had a urgent meetings as well with all the
I think
military
Pakistan,
leadership?
I think Muslim, I would like to explicit here for everyone that Pakistan is the only country in the world who has paid the highest
Exactly.
price in the history in terms of eradication of terrorism, in terms of securing their borders, and in terms of assisting their Western allies and keeping them happy as well. So, as you mentioned, this like full sentence of Trump administration or a quotation from there, I would like to mention even Harry Clinton wrote in her book that Pakistan is a selfish friend. So they are expecting Pakistan to be to come forward for their interests. Pakistan can do for like not fully, but in a little extent, because obviously, as I said, we are backbone in the region, so we don't want anyone to hit our backbone from any perspective. So I think Trump administration was not that pleasant and not that attractive as compared to Obama, and as compared to now, probably we're expecting good from Biden administration as well. So. You can see the civil war within the United States of America during Trump administration. George Floyd, systematic racism when Trump ordered his armed forces to come and attack on civilians, like to citizens, and American army stepped back. They said no, like we are here to protect them. Why we should attack them? And for the very first time in the history of the United States of America, the most powerful country in the world, their president was taken into bunker just to protect him from the protesters. So again, harsh relations with Iran, what Trump did with Iran, harsh
Exactly.
relations not even with like with other Western. Canada, look at the Canada and the Trudeau. Like I don't think so like in the beginning of the Trump administration, the relation between Canada and even United States of America, they were quite great, but with the passage of the time, Trump was not having any sort of good relations with his neighbors like Canada. So we are like South Asia is far away, even if we consider anything good from them in that era actually.
Considering the Iranians' relationship, the Trump administrations has just jeopardized all of the progress made by the Obama administrations, and whatever agreements the Obama administration had with Iran, the Trump just withdraw that agreements. And in 2017, the United States Supreme Court put some more sanctions, seized their all the funds and banks and the bank accounts and assets in the United States, as well as you remember that in the Major General Qasem Soleimani's the drone attack, the murder in Iraq, when he was going to meet the Iraqi prime minister in Baghdad, and he was being killed by the United States, which sparked a big heat relationship. And I don't think so the Trump administration has done any single inch progress towards the progress with the Iranian relationship, and especially during the pandemic. It is so harsh that they haven't even taken off any sanctions from Iran, but also they didn't provide them any support. For example, they're giving the support to all the developing countries and the developing countries and other nations during this hard and difficult time. But the Iranian public has completely been neglected, and a very harsh stance and harsh decisions being taken by the Trump administrations. Do you think that Joe Biden will take this same thing, or they will remove
um
all those hard policies against Iran?
Muslim, you know what? I believe that Iranians are very, very strong. Like these sanctions are not from yesterday or the day before yesterday. These sanctions
Yeah,
are
it
on
is.
them since years and years actually,
Yeah.
And as far as Soleimani, you mentioned, he was a very brave man. And he was a very brave man. So like if Iranians, like as you know, the Iranians were on streets for Soleimani, it means that he was really, really something, and he was a
Yeah.
threat to Western
Yeah.
allies somewhere, somehow. Great. So Iranians, as far as sanctions are concerned, Iranians are used to with that. Yes, the worst part that, like during pandemic, they were in the need of medical assistance as medicines, and Trump said that I'm not ready to take out sanctions away from you, but I'm ready to give you little assistance of medication for your people. So Iranian refused there at that time initially, because for them, which I have experienced from my Iranian friends, they are the people of integrity and dignity and modesty. So I believe that during Biden administration, relation between Iran and Western allies will be pleasant with the passage of the time.
And there is no any diplomatic relationship with China, with United States and Iran since 1980s, and whereas the Pakistan is serving as the protecting rights in Washington for Iran, and Switzerland is serving as a protecting rights for United States in Tehran in Iran. So these two countries are playing the middleman role to carry on any discussions or talks or diplomatic things. Yeah, you want to say anything?
No, that's fine. You have already completed. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's it.
So let's talk about just now before we head toward the Islamophobic waves worldwide, and after that,
Yeah.
just before going ahead towards that topic, I want you to comment on the Joe Biden, because Joe Biden, the new president for United States, he previously visited many times to Pakistan. He know these regions. He has a lot of informations about what tensions in this region has. For example, the issue of Kashmir between Pakistan and India, and he know the issue of Afghanistan very well, and he know the role of Pakistan in Afghan war, and he know they accept and acknowledge in Obama administration that what is the main role of Pakistan's military and Pakistan as a state to war against terror. So do you think that Joe Biden's administration will be a very strong will be strong wave for Pakistan to stand with them and acknowledge their role in the region?
Oh yes, I strongly agree with that. Just the relation between Pakistan and United States of America during the Biden presidency will strengthen with the passage of the time. I think yes, from all perspectives, and I believe that somewhere somehow might be Joe Biden will act as a bridge between India and Pakistan to solve their problems as well. Either if it's a Kashmir, either if it's a export import, either if it's the borders, either the involvement of India in Afghanistan, and some fake threats to Pakistan, like as you are aware of the February attack, so like that, and so many artificial surgical strike stance of India towards Pakistan. So the relation between India and Pakistan might be during presidency of the Biden will strengthen, will be better with the present, because people from the both sides prefer to have a good relations, because we share the same cultures, same traditions, same food and all that. So we as a young generation, we don't want wars. We want a pleasant relations. We want like open borders, like Europe. So yeah.
Yeah. So the President Obama, he had very good relations with the former Prime Minister of Pakistan, Nawaz Sharif, and Joe Biden has
Yes.
also visited Nawaz Sharif, his Banigala, not Banigala, the in Lahore. What is his palace?
Jati Umrah.
Jat.
Jati Umrah.
No, Jati Umrah is Praise Musharraf's right. Yeah, Jati Umrah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yes, it's
Lahore.
Nawaz Sharif's residency. Yeah.
Yeah, Nawaz Sharif residency, Jati Umrah. Joe Biden visited that place as well, and but the Trump also had a good relation with Imran Khan, and he accepted his vision and the speech which he did in the United Nations. He also praised that, and he wrote recently a letter to the Prime Minister as well, which was highlighted in social media as well very vastly. But do you think that during the Imran Khan still has 2 years to complete to finish his term, but the new administration, the Joe Biden, will strengthen the Imran Khan's government and give the full support as the Trump given the Imran Khan?
Oh yes, absolutely. Because as far as Nawaz Sharif and Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz is concerned, I think they're out of picture now, because Pakistan is at an edge at the moment in terms of prosperity, in terms of economy, in terms even to survive, you know. And Imran Khan is not considered as a leader in Pakistan; he's considered as a leader across the globe now. Great, his addresses in the United Nations, his relations with the Western allies, like German Chancellor Angela Merkel, even Trump, Boris Johnson. So, like, I think Biden will prefer to extend good relations with Pakistan during Khan's administration.
Don't forget the Hillary Clinton's recent interview, wherein he admitted that in Pakistan, without the establishment role, the politicians and the prime minister and the parliament leadership, they are dummy. They cannot do anything if they cross with the
Okay,
establishment.
so Muazzam, I need to clarify. I need to clarify one thing. I need to clarify one thing.
Okay.
The term establishment is very commonly used in Pakistan and for Pakistan, by our Western allies or world leaders. If the establishment is doing something within the ambit of the Constitution of Pakistan for the prosperity of Pakistan, there's nothing wrong in that.
There's
So within the Constitution, listen, within the Constitution of Pakistan, within the Constitution of Pakistan, for the prosperity of Pakistan. So if they're helping political party or any government for prosperity of Pakistan in a positive manner under the boundaries of the Constitution, there's nothing bad in that. And secondly, let me tell you, Pakistan establishment.
The establishment oath says that they will not involve in Pakistan politics. They will not.
They prefer not to, because they have more.
And the Hillary Clinton stance and their party's position is very clear that they are pro-democratic, they are pro-parliamentarians, and they do support the Pakistan. And when you said that the Nawaz Sharif is out of picture, I think you're making a mistake, because the Nawaz Sharif and their allies, they're having the very big rallies, big program, jalsas.
Look, rallies, jalsas are the part. Listen, I need to tell you one thing.
So do you think that the international establishment, the international leadership, they are not?
No, Muazzam, listen. Rallies and jalsas are the taste in Pakistan. It's a culture, to gather the audience and speak about a lot of things.
That is the voice of the people.
Pinpoint establishment and call chief of army staff in a bigger picture.
Can you negate the existence of people's voice in the jalsas and rallies? You are actually supporting the drawing room politics.
There are two schools of thoughts. A young generation, educated young generation in Pakistan, they're not ready to see these two parties back in the power, because they believe that they are guilty according to the country's. They believe that they are guilty according to the country's highest court of law, Supreme Court.
Example, you said the young generations, they don't want any party, the status quo.
These two parties to be back.
Okay, so do you think, according to democratic system, apart from the young generation, the other people who are not young, according to you, they do not have any right to say?
They do have a right to say, my dear. Let me clarify. Because Pakistan, no. Let me clear my stance. Let me clear my stance, please. Pakistan has 67% of the youth. So the young generation, the youth of Pakistan, which is comprised of 67%, they expect a change for the prosperity of Pakistan. They want an employment. They want in democratic society. They want the rights to be protected. They want the young girls not to be raped. They want the children to be protected. And as far as Nawaz Sharif, as far as Nawaz Sharif and Zardari, both of them are concerned, they found guilty by the highest court of the land of this country. To bring back the guilty ones, like how you will face the world leaders,
Okay, I think
in
the
a bigger
debate is going
picture.
towards, I think the debate is going towards the different directions, which is not in our topic today, ladies and
Yes,
gentlemen.
I agree. I agree. We are
Yeah,
a bit
we will.
emotional.
Yeah, we will go to this debate another time, and I will ask Needa Salam to come to my show and talk about these things in another time. We have difference of opinions, and we do respect each other's
Oh, yes, we
difference of
respect each
opinions.
other. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So,
That is
ladies
the
and
only
gentlemen,
important point.
we're heading towards a very short break, and after the break, we will talk about the new Islamophobic waves worldwide, and also we will cover the President Trump's statement previously, which he banned few Islamic countries not to able to travel to United States, and the recent statement of French President Macron. Please stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
If you want to advertise your business on Revive FM, then visit www.revivefm.co.uk. Alternatively, contact our sales team now on 07944 56 5616. That's 07944 56 5616.
Super Best Meze Grill, the Turkish restaurant where all our food is prepared to perfection. Our mixed grill family platters include lamb shish, chicken shish, Adana kebab, lamb ribs, chicken doner, chicken wings, and lamb chops. And all are served with rice, salad, along with a selection of our cold mezes. To see our full menu, go to superbestmezegrill.co.uk. For the perfect dining setting, visit us now at 21 to 23 Broadway, Stratford, E15 4B, or call 0208 555 3335. Super Best Meze Grill.
Looking to get your finances in order? MR Accountants has you covered. We provide a full range of accountancy and taxation services, including annual and management accounts, self-assessment tax returns, VAT, bookkeeping, and payroll services. We ensure you're kept up to date with the latest legislation, and our client-focused approach helps us plan your business finances from savings to investments. We are MR Accountants. Visit our website at mraccountants.com or call us on 0203 432 9138.
This is Aisha. Her father died in an accident at a very young age. She lives with her mother and siblings. There are millions like Aisha who do not have access to the very basics of life, resulting in her and many others not being able to attend school. Through Minhaj Welfare Foundation, your charity is dedicated towards supporting the full needs of orphans and needy children around the world. Donate today. Call us now, 0300 30 30 777, or visit us on minhajwelfare.org.
Just the flu, people say every year. But in an average year, the flu kills 11,000 people and hospitalises tens of thousands more. There's no just about it. Flu is a virus that can cause serious complications. That's why we offer you the flu vaccine free. It's your very best protection. Ask your pharmacist or GP if you're eligible for the free flu vaccine. NHS. To protect against flu, help us help you.
If you're looking for a unique bespoke cake made especially for your big day, then look no further. Here at Sugar Sprinkle Cakery, we design some of the most imaginative and delicious home-baked cakes for your special occasions. We do fresh cream, buttercream, eggless and vegan cakes. Check us out on Instagram or Facebook at Sugar Sprinkle Cakery, or just call 07932 665 833. That's 07932 665 833. Amigos, the signature name when it comes to burgers and shakes. Our succulent burgers are prepared in front of you while you wait. Whether you go for our 6-ounce Mexican or our 10-ounce Texan, or you decide to go for our messy fries or our buffalo wings, one thing you're guaranteed is quality. Dine in with your friends and family at 400 Cranbrook Road, Gants Hill, or order in on Uber Eats, Just Eat, or Deliveroo. Amigos, hats off to great burgers.
Revive FM
94.0. On the radio.
on your mobile.
And online.
Very welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We were talking about the new president of United States and their new foreign policy about the South Asian countries. And we have our guest today live from Islamabad, Barrister Needa Salam. Ladies and gentlemen, in our second segment after the break, we are going to talk about the Islamophobic wave worldwide, wherein the Muslims are facing so many atrocities, miseries, and they are the victim of some decisions, the decisions which is made by some authorities, by governments, by states, which is highly concerned worldwide Muslims, and we do raise our voice against that decisions. There are two things always happen. For example, one stance and one statement or one decisions or one movement anti-Muslim can be done by any organization such as RSS, the Hindutva in India, and any other private organizations. But there are few decisions which were made by the governments, such as the France government has taken stance against Islam. The President Trump has said previously to ban some Islamic countries cannot visit the United States. The Burmese governments, they had crushed the basic fundamental human rights against the Rohingya Muslims, and also the Chinese government, they have also had made some the government decisions wherein they made some they established some camps where they detained millions of Muslims in order to support the concept of the separatism of Islam, and it is being alleged that they were involved in brainwashing the Muslims and asking them to go through certain kind of the syllabus or the studies. So, ladies and gentlemen, all of these things, which is the issues of current world, 1.8 billion Muslims are facing these issues, and the World Muslim Organizations Islamic Summit, they are silently watching and observing these things. We haven't received any strong stance or any strong statement by the Islamic world, apart from two governments, one the Turkish Prime Minister, Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan, and also our Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan. They have taken a very strong stance, and they always speak in favor of the Muslims' rights. But in the presence of Miss Needa Salam, I'm going to ask you a few things. In the present world, if we see the United States Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which clearly give the rights of every single individual, they can practice their religions. Nobody can be discriminated on the basis of their race, color, culture, and religion. In the presence of the European Commission of Human Rights, wherein it is clearly given the protection of everybody's religious thoughts, religious beliefs and faiths, why the world leaders are in breach of international law? Why the world leaders are still provoking the Muslims and hurting their feelings and breaching the international law?
Muazzam, you know what? I believe that democratic societies, in democratic societies, human rights treaties, conventions, and governments are responsible for promoting and protecting fundamental human rights.
Yeah.
As far as the current issue is concerned, the cartoons of great Prophet, peace be upon him, the sketches and all that, and the statement coming from French President Macron, that was not acceptable. It was entirely intolerable. France was the first country in the Europe, who banned face veil during Sarkozy era, during Sarkozy administration, if you remember. At that time, the argument for banning face veil or head cover was that prevent face identification was a security risk. But on the other hand, the argument against was that it encroaches an individual's right to practice his or her religion, number one. Number two, taking away right of a woman to dress up according to her religious standard of modesty infringes her moral autonomy in terms of practicing her religion. So there are many cases on that. There are many authorities on that. When France banned the face veil, at that time, France was in a breach of international commitment. France was in a breach of international law. I would like to quote the case here, Mansingh versus France. It was held that while prohibiting a Sikh man from wearing a turban was violation of his human right to practice his religion. It was against Article 18 of the United Nations International Covenant of Civil and Political Rights. So there are many authorities on that. SAS versus France, Musali versus France, Paul versus France. These are all cases on that, and where it was established that France was in violation of Article 9, 10, 11, which clearly states that to protect human rights. This blanket ban is disproportionate measure and unnecessary in democratic society. Somewhere, somehow, it conflicts with international commitments. So, do you know that like Switzerland always complied with its international commitments and always considered as a reliable partner in democratic world? But after France, when Switzerland banned the construction of the minarets, Switzerland was in a breach of international commitment as well, because the reason to ban the construction of the minarets in Switzerland at that time was that the minarets are the symbol of power, and it's against Christianity norms and political values of Switzerland. So we need to understand that like these political leaders are not, you know what, I strongly believe that these political leaders fail to understand that what they're doing in relation to encourage systematic racism conflicts, because I have experienced the both system, Eastern and Western, in England and in Pakistan. I have experienced a war on terror here. I have researched and have deep knowledge and have exposure of sectarian conflicts in Pakistan. So like if world leaders will continue if world leaders will give statements like Macron gave, it means that they are encouraging hatred, they are encouraging tranquility, they are encouraging inequality, and like while encouraging that, they are forcing young generation to go towards unlawful killings, stabbing, acid attack, taking a woman's head cover. Do you remember back in the days in 2015-16 where young woman head cover was taken off in a tube, and then everybody, even the parliamentarians in UK, they wore a head cover for one day just to show solidarity. Do you remember the acid attacks in the UK and the France? Do you remember the unlawful killings in France? Do you remember the unlawful killing in rest of the European paths? So these world leaders need to understand what they want. They want a conflict of religion, like in their countries, or they want a peace. They want to create intolerance, or they want a tolerance, because then this fire of conflict of religion, conflict of religious practices, and inequality and discrimination will lead to further more, and no one can stop. Because I have exposure of sectarian conflict in Pakistan, and it's very, very dramatically bad, and no one can stop. So like that can only increase more unlawful killing and even terrorism. So another very important thing I would like to say, that as far as the UK is concerned, I don't think so UK will ever bring such practices. The reason for that, UK is a hub of diversity. UK believe on a modern Britain believe in multiculturalism. We have an Equality Act, we have like anti-discrimination laws and all that. I still remember back in the young days when I used to go to uni in 2005, there was a Danish newspaper, Jaland. That newspaper made the cartoons of Great Prophet, peace be upon him. At that time, the Danish Prime Minister described that issue as worst international incident after Second World War. That incident led to major political social conflict between majority Muslim states. So France has a Muslim community almost of 5 million, and if the French president will not stop here and now, I believe that it will lead to religious conflicts. It will lead to more chaos within the France, and then it will not be easy for the French administration of a Macron to stop anything, to stop like the violence. And I think the world leaders need to understand. Even Trump era, George Floyd racism, and the protest. I still remember the London riots. That was on the racism as well, and the decision when it came from the court, Stephen Lawrence case. Do you remember 2012 London riots and the violence during that riots and the racism and the school of thoughts at that time? I strongly condemn, I utterly condemn the statement of Macron from all perspectives. It's against international law, it's against international commitment. And yes, France changed its legislation on head cover, on face veil, but that was against not complying with international law, international commitments. I still remember in my young days of uni days, I'm saying that we used to admire Nelson Mandela, Winston Churchill, Jeff Kennedy, Mother Teresa. And when we see like world leaders like Macron, like what my next generation will learn from them. And I'm very terrified for the next new generation, especially this young generation and the leaders like Macron, that what message they are giving. They're giving a message not to be tolerant. They're giving a message like to involve yourself in illegal activities, unlawful killings, or I think through this he's promoting act of terrorism actually.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Needa.
No problem. Yes, go ahead.
Expressed your thoughts. You really gave a very strategic reasons and grounds and logics all behind towards any policy which is hurtful, the policy which hurt and which breach the basic fundamental rights of anyone's on the basis of religion and faith and belief. And let me tell one thing, the United States formation. The United States has one General Assembly, Security Council, and 5 permanent members. They have the power of veto. The 5 permanent members, France is one of them. In 1952, the United States, 1950, the very initial times of the United States, the United States General Assembly has passed a resolution wherein they said that the permanent member of the Security Council, they have a duty on their shoulders to must make sure they are maintaining the peace in the world. Any action which will be the breach of the peace will deprive them from their right of veto, and the General Assembly can pass any resolutions against that, and that country cannot veto about any collective decision of the General Assembly. At this time, seeing the French president, that is seriously irresponsible statement, irresponsible actions, and we urge to the General Assembly of United Nations to must come forward and take serious actions about that, wherein he said that he will monitor and he will not stop the publishing and demonstration of the cartoons of Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. That is serious.
I would like to add something very importantly. Macron said that he's fighting radical Islam. I would like to condemn that. There is no radical Islam. Islam is a religion of peace. Islam is a religion of tolerance. Islam is a religion of tranquility. Great. So like what radical Islam is referring to? I don't know radical Islam. And our great beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, always gave the message of tolerance, peace, love, affection, loyalty, honesty, dignity. Which radical Islam he was referring? Which radical Islam is fighting within the Europe actually?
1.8 billion Muslims of the world, they are not owning all the terrorism acts done by any so-called terrorist
they are
group.
only and even if you consider Afghanistan and Iran, sorry, let me add something. If you consider Afghanistan and Syria and Iraq, like we agree the problems, but that's not like 90% of the Muslims across the globe are terrorists.
Exactly.
Terrorism has no religion. I condemn terrorism, but the statements by these world leaders can lead toward the terrorist acts for the people to go forcefully involve themselves in that.
And what was happened in 2012 in Norway? What happened in New Zealand?
Oh yeah, yes. Remember that where school children were attacked.
Yeah, when those things happen, they said that they never say this is done by that person's religion. They always says, "Oh, this is individual's person's act."
Oh yeah, and that person, and they always have a statement that person was mentally sick, had not capacity to think good, bad, right, wrong. What's that?
Yes, exactly. Because the injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. If they are doing injustice with the New Zealand public, wherein nearly 70 people has been killed and died by that mad person, then what kind of the reaction they will expect from the rest of the world and the people, those people who lost their beloved ones, who lost the life. They want to see the
Can
justice.
anybody give me an answer that what this world leader Macron, like from this statement, like what he has achieved so far? Just hatred.
Just
He
hatred,
created more hatred and chaos in society. He tried to divide the society. He tried to divide the French people actually, and that division I have seen, I have researched, and I've seen in Pakistan on the grounds of a sectarian conflict, and that's very difficult to be out of that. It's easy to play with this fire, but once like it will expand, these world leaders will cry and they will not be able to handle it. When I said many times Pakistan is a game changer and Pakistan is a backbone and Pakistan won the war on terror, Pakistan won the war on sectarian conflict, because Pakistan literally in real meanings has suffered from all these perspectives.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
Which
This
Western
is-
allies are not able to understand, and the term hatred intolerance seems easier for them, like, oh okay, hatred tolerance chaos, but in reality, like, I have seen in Pakistan sectarian conflict, and I've seen how the state is struggling with that.
Exactly.
And I don't
This
think
is
so our
the
Western allies and these
we
world
our show
Western world leaders are ready for any sort of fight to tackle like that.
Needa Salam, we have reached the end of our show.
Yeah,
I
end of
really
time.
appreciate, yeah, and the time flow very fast, and hopefully, inshallah, we'll see you another time.
Thank you so much, Muazzam. It was my privilege to be in your show, and it was a great discussion. And yes, we might have a difference of opinion, but we always maintain a doctrine of respect and dignity,
Exactly.
and honor between each other.
Yeah, exactly. This is the beauty of the conversations, because we must
Yes.
respect each other's on the basis of difference of opinions. And I don't find any difference of opinion apart from the Pakistan political system. Thank you very much. We will have another show again, and in that show we will discuss about Pakistan political system. Thank you
Yes.
very much, Needa
Thank
Salam.
you. Have a good time. Thank you, everyone, for
Thank
listening.
you. Thank you.
Businesses who deal with Europe, listen up. Time is running out. You've got new rules coming in on the